Did you ever stare into a mirror for a long period of time? And I don't mean for just a few minutes, not to just check out your body, but for a truly long time. Try, for example, if you will, staring at your own face. At the beginning it might be normal, you might laugh because it feels silly. Soon, however, things will turn weird. At first the humor of it will go away, you might even get bored. But if you stick to it, things will eventually become creepy. You know that experiment where you stare into the mirror at your own eyes and hold the gaze until you start seeing your face go all weird? If you haven't, please do not try it out. I'm begging and warning you. I repeat, do not try it. I hope by the end of reading this I have convinced you as to why you should not try this. I loved doing weird experiments that gave me a warped version of reality, something to break the monotony of life, you know. As a 22-year-old that just got stuck into a 9-to-5 job, I desperately tried to change things up. I didn't want to do drugs, so I tried experiments like the above. When I first read about this mirror experiment, I thought it was absolutely amazing. It was so cool to see things change right before your eyes. I remember one particular time when my face got so warped it no longer looked like me. Heck, it didn't even look human. I was absolutely thrilled. So I tried doing this experiment under different lights, like a bright light, red light, dim light, and lastly the candle light, just to see the effects of each light. You don't realize how just one single action could completely turn your life around. Like not being able to answer questions on titration in chemistry made me get a C for that course, and as a result, I could not get into medical science, which changed my degree completely and as a result, my job. My life could have been totally different had I gotten into medical school. Anyways, the point is, it's always the smallest of things that can have a major impact. And for me, it was 3 simple lit candles. So one day I decided to try out the experiment in candlelight. Oddly, this time I felt scared. Don't ignore your gut feeling. It is honestly like a second brain. In fact, I think studies have proved it, Google it or something, so I felt quite odd, but decided to go ahead anyways. I lit up 3 candles, enough to illuminate just my face. I started the experiment as usual and stared into my eyes. 20 seconds had passed, and instead of my face changing, as usual, it remained the same. I decided to continue for longer, despite the itching sensation of unease. Then my face started changing, slowly and clearly. My eyes came too close to each other. They had become red. I didn't realize I'd been smiling, but I could see myself smiling widely. It was one of those smiles where you can see the gums on your teeth. They looked so red. I got freaked out and closed my eyes. When I opened, just for a split second, I saw that warped image of myself again. I thought it must have been one of those images that are sort of retained in your memory and play out afterward. Like when you see negative images on your computer screen, and then when you see a white wall, you see the image. I brushed it off and didn't see myself in the mirror the whole day. That night, I decided to brush my hair in front of my mirror, and I swear for a second I saw my warped version standing behind me with that same smile. I quickly turned around, almost screaming, but didn't see anything. Thankfully. After that, I didn't see anything odd for a while. I did stop with the stupid experiment. Then, after a while, at my friend's house, I saw it. I saw it while I was drying some silver pots, and I saw my own face sort of blurred out, but then I also saw that odd warped image of myself. I almost dropped my pot. From then on, my warped image made a daily appearance on any reflective surface. Windows at work, puddles on the street, bathroom mirror, laptop reflection. If it reflected an image, my warped image made an appearance. If you're wondering how I kept my sanity, well, to be honest, I don't know. I stopped looking at myself in the mirror and got rid of all reflective things in my house and tried to stay away from reflective things. I got my best friend to come stay with me, telling her I was just feeling lonely. My parents are in another country, so sadly could not flee into their protective arms. Never did I think something I was so familiar with, like my face, myself, would scare me. Every time I look at my hands or body, I looked at it for just a second longer, just to make sure I know it's me. You know the phrase, I know it like it's the back of my hand. That's pretty stupid, because until this time I had not paid much attention to the back of my hand. And now every time I do, I question if it's the same hands I saw the last time. Anyways, I digress. I needed to share this information with a person, someone who is smart and could comfort me. Though not very religious, I always enjoyed going to temples as I am a Hindu. I found it calming and safe. I had become quite close with the priest there over the years, and he would always tell me wonderful practical stories about life and other important lessons. So I decided I would tell him of my odd experience. I met him on a Tuesday night. Usually Tuesdays are the quietest, so I thought it would be a good idea. After the usual routine of praying, etc., I asked if I could share with him something. He was more than happy to listen. For someone who is always calm, I did not expect his reaction. The minute I told him about the reflection, his face looked extremely worried and he abruptly looked away from me. Once I finished telling him the story, he took the golden jug of holy water and literally emptied it on me right then and there. Usually priests give a drop of that water with a little golden spoon, not empty the entire contents of water onto you. Before I could say anything, he went and handed me a lemon, without looking at me again, along with some other herbs, and told me to take them with me. He told me to stay away from reflections and told me to come back next week. When I tried to talk, he still not looking at me, told me to leave and come back next week. You can imagine how scary that must have been. A priest freaking out, that fucked me up.